Episode 29 of the Planet Nintendo podcast. Let's see what's on the menu for today. So we are going to be playing our favorite game, Keep, Trade, Kill. We're going to be talking about some of the arcade archives and some of the collections coming to Switch, our opinions on Super Mario Odyssey, and of course, viewer questions. So let's get it started. What is up, guys? Patrick here from NintenTalk. And before we get started, let's introduce the best co-host on the planet, Joe. Joe after work. What's up, man?
Doing good. A little exhausted today, but I'm hanging in there. Had some Splatoon action earlier. Yeah, nice. I feel like I'm slowly getting better at it, kinda.
You just did the move too?
Yeah. Almost done. Fingers crossed we finish up this weekend, and then that's that for a few months.
Nice. And my pleasure of introducing our guest of the night, Marty from Nintendo Dads. What's up, man?
It is my pleasure to be here, guys. I'm excited about this.
This is gonna be cool. So before we get started, I should probably do this more often, but Marty, why don't you tell us a little bit about Nintendo Dads, where they can find you, when that is, and what's it all about?
So Nintendo Dads is a little podcast that I'm actually not the founder of. I kind of stumbled into it about 100 episodes into the game and have been, I guess, almost 75 episodes I've been on now. Wow. But Jesse and Justin and Zach started this as a labor of love, basically to have a place as dads to talk about a shared passion, which is Nintendo. And so on our podcast, what we do is we try to approach gaming from that perspective of we're dads. How do we deal with that? And of course, that comes up. We'll get into some questions and some content. I think that other podcasts don't necessarily get into when they discuss video games. A lot of questions that we get relate to how do I do this with my kids, or how did you manage this as dads? And so I think that's a really cool intersection of two things that I'm really passionate about: Nintendo and being a dad. Mm-hmm. So they invited me onto the show after they had we kind of found them. I was on a show called Reactor Radio at the time, which was kind of a kind of catch-all pop culture podcast. Okay. And so that kind of wound down, and they invited me to come after be on that after a little hiatus from podcasting. So you can find us over at kind of the mothership site is vgtribune.com. And we have all of our episodes posted there. Occasionally, there will be a written review that one of our community creators do that's posted over there. But mostly we do a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of eShop spotlights, unboxing videos, different things like that. And that's our channel is Nintendo Dads. Pretty much all of our social media is Nintendo Dads. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of that. You just Nintendo Dads, all one word, and that's how you'll find us. And we do podcasts every Friday, and once a month retro rewind episodes, and the occasional, and it's been a while since we've done one of these, an occasional after dark episode as well that we will do, which is mainly the reason we call it after dark is it's kind of like it's off topic. So it'll be a new Marvel movie, or we'll talk about, like we did one for Doctor Strange, or we'll talk about The Last Jedi, or we'll talk about something like that, something that we're all interested in, but it doesn't fit in the Nintendo Dads frame.
That's awesome. Yeah, I couldn't recommend it enough. And you guys have had some great guests. Philip from
Houston,
IGN. Yeah, like some great guests over there.
And, like way before I was on there, they had Pierce Schneider.
Wow.
Yeah. And we keep hinting at him. We're like, dude, we want to have you back. He's like, oh yeah, I'll come back eventually. And I'm like, that's going to be like the week that I'm gone, and I'm not going to be able to be on the episode. They did that. There was one that we did not too long ago with the and his name just vanished out of my mind, and I know I'm going to get corrected on this. Chris Hoffman, that's his name. That used to be the editor of Nintendo Power, the Hoff.
Wow.
Oh wow!
And
okay.
I did not get to be on that episode, and I kind of didn't realize what was going on until it was too late. But we've had Jules Watson on there, talking about a TUI, and Ash Paulson is getting ready to guest on there, which I'm super excited about because he's a huge Mega Man fan too.
Nice.
And so that's that. Yeah, we have managed to be somewhat fortunate / lucky enough to be able to hit people at the right time, and they're like, oh yeah, sure, I'll be on.
That's
Nice.
awesome. And someone that me and Joe are familiar with, Bobby, was on there a couple times too. So he's taking a little break. We're gonna see him soon enough.
Yeah, we love Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby's
And
good.
I mean, all of those like content creator guys from YouTube, Roger, Josh, all those guys who have been on. It's always great to have a rotating voice. Dave's been on some from Day Space and all that. Again, and I know you guys kind of experience this sometimes too. Is like if it's just your normal cast, sometimes it can kind of be a little bit of an echo chamber.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's people who listen to our show and like, oh my God, are they talking about the 3DS again? Yes, we are. Any chance we get, we're going to talk about 3DS. But so far, it has been just a fantastic experience to be part of Nintendo Dads.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a good dynamic too because we're two young guys. So do me and Joe have to have kids to get on Nintendo Dads or what?
No, you don't. You don't. Yeah. You can just say that the games are your babies.
There we go. Didn't want to put you on the spot there, but let's start off with let's start off with a game that, oh man, we played this once and we got completely blasted in the comments. So
oh man,
yeah, prepare.
I'm used to that. It's okay.
Welcome to NintenTalk. So we're gonna be playing Keep, Trade, Kill, and basically we take 3 beloved Nintendo franchises and make a case whether or not we should keep, trade, or kill them. For bonus points, the franchise that you trade, you can make a argument on what you would get back from that company or whatever. You don't have to do it, but it's kind of fun with that. So we have 3 well-known franchises tonight. Joe is shaking his head already. Metroid, F-Zero, and Star Fox. So, oh man, who wants to go first?
Oh, I know my answers immediately.
Go for it.
Oh wow. Okay,
yeah.
Marty.
Okay, so I'm just gonna like, you guys have just been saying it, and then later we explain.
Yeah, I mean,
or are you gonna interrogate me right now? Okay, so well, the obvious keep out of these 3 is Metroid.
Okay.
And simply because out of those 3, if I'm looking at that and I'm thinking iconic Nintendo franchise, it's Metroid. There's still so much lore in that universe that has to be explained and explored, and there's really a myriad of ways they could take it, and we've seen them do that. We've seen them do it with Prime and kind of that first person shooter exploration based gameplay. We've seen them do it with Zero Mission and Fusion, and guys, if we don't ever get the conclusion to that storyline from Fusion, I'm going to be furious. Like if I'm an old man and I'm sitting in a nursing home somewhere and they're like, my kids are, and like my son comes is like, Dad, they finally released the end story. I'm like, you're going to have to come play it for me, or whatever. Just put it up on YouTube and let me watch the stream, because I'm going to have to find out how it ends, because I've like Metroid Fusion is my favorite Metroid game of all time. I think it was it was everything from that series that was distilled down and made great. So I've got to keep that one. I'll just go straight to kill because it's already dead. F-Zero. I mean, you might as well go ahead and list it as your kill because Nintendo has for the last 20 years or something. I love the concept. Like I think it's great. I think the concept was fantastic at the time. There was no better showcase of what the Super Nintendo could do back in the day of F-Zero. I remember playing that for the first time and going, "Oh my gosh!" This Mode 7 scrolling and all this. But I saw somebody tweet this the other day, and I thought it was so appropriate. At this point, you might as well just say Captain Falcon is a Smash Brothers character. Only.
Yeah. And some kids only know him as a Smash character.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And so I know that it kind of probably had more, and I don't say kind of probably, I know it did. It had more traction in Japan. They got more games. They had the manga. They had the anime. They had all of that. But
Arcade.
it's DOA here in America, and I would love it. I mean, I know there's people out there who are clamoring for it. F-Zero Revival on the Switch. I just don't see it happening. I really don't. Like, I would love that. I would love them to come to E3 this year and just blow us away with that. But it's not going to happen. I really don't think we're ever going to see it. So that leaves my trade as Star Fox. I would trade that. So I'm going to talk about what am I going to get back from this?
Yeah, I mean, if you have this weird concoction of a plan, yeah.
Well, so what I want to do is I would actually like to trade Star Fox for a better Star Fox.
Oh man.
And what I mean by that is I would like to trade it off. I'd like to trade it away from Nintendo and put it in the hands of a developer who would make an open world game just like Breath of the Wild, but make it Star Fox.
Ooh.
That's possible too. I can.
And we've kind of batted that idea around on our Discord server and heard about it from some other things. But I mean, like, imagine like a No Man's Sky done right, but with Star Fox, and that's what we're talking about. If you and I would be totally like, I don't know that I want the go down to the surface and you're Fox and you're running around or whatever, but if it was go down to the surface and turn into the chicken walker or the tank and go down and like blow up a base and then fly off into space. Yes.
Oh man.
Yes, I want that.
That'd be
And
nice.
so like even if the trade was for it to go like away from consoles and like be arcade only and just do a really cool arcade experience, almost like the Star Wars Battle Pod.
That'd be
but
cool.
with Star Fox.
That's a really fun game. Yeah.
I would be okay with that. But like, if it's just going to be like Star Fox Zero,
yeah,
and which was fun for like I really tried to like that game, and I played through it 2 times, and it sat on my shelf.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we talk about Star Fox Zero way too much on here. I think
that's okay. I think everybody talks about Star Fox Zero way too much.
Oh man,
but those are my 3.
Okay,
I think you can make a claim for Star Fox just to add on. Like even like bringing some of the assault stuff too, like mix that up. You can involve like an open world in that where Fox just drops down even from the R-wing onto land or whatever, or you have to fly back into Great Fox and get the landmaster and drop it down and then roll that way or whatever. You know, that would be awesome. For me, I actually had the same exact setup, so I'm gonna change it up a little bit. I'm gonna go still with keeping Metroid. Much like Marty was just saying, that franchise has so much to go, and I know it's probably not the biggest franchise, but out of these 3 right now, it is the bigger of the 3 franchises, and there's just still so much more lore. I feel like Marty's like my soulmate from another YouTube channel right now. Fusion and Super are my 2 favorite Metroid games. I love the 2D platformer style. That needs to be explored more. Samus Returns was great. I think they can evolve more from that and just learn even more. And I need continuation of like what happens after Fusion. Just keep it going. Just let it go. And Dread was there, and it was rumored to be like that continuation of Fusion, but we only had like 1 or 2 screenshots from it, and then that was just kind of it. Disappeared into the ether. Like, give me that. Bring back Dread, and like just go forward from there. With like the the spoilers for anyone who has not played Metroid Fusion, the ending, like just continue what happens after the Metroid is like infused with DNA and just like fully completed, and the whole X thing, sacrificing itself to save you, which is insane. There's so much more that you can do there. I guess if you're gonna trade Star Fox, I'll trade F-Zero. We have enough. We have Mario Kart. I think if anyone's going to play a Nintendo racing game, it's going to be Mario Kart. What you can probably do with F-Zero, though, give it to Sony and make it a third-person action game. Give it to
like when you're
who's good at third
walking
person
around as
like a third-person brawler or something like that, or even give it to like an indie dev or something like that. Just get crazy with Captain Falcon. Like F-Zero actually has a story. it's built into the racing. There's like a whole sci-fi thing to it. Get weird with it. Just give it to Capcom. There we go. I think Capcom should actually have it.
Of the PlayStation 2 game God Hand. Have you ever played that?
Yes, yeah.
And it was like about this guy
crazy
who could
fists.
he could punch somebody into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Like if that was a game with Captain Falcon, like where he's just leveling up the Falcon Punch the entire game.
Oh my god.
Yes,
that'd be great.
I will play that.
I would play that.
It was One Punch before One Punch, basically.
Yes.
So
Oh,
Joe,
man.
the big elephant in the room is you're killing my boy Star Fox.
And this hurts me because I love me some Star Fox. You know, I'd say what you will about Zero. That's just another thing. Whatever, it is what it is. I'm over it. We're gonna have to get rid of him. We're gonna have to take him and Slippy to the backyard. Scrap the old Switch zapper that will eventually be made into some Labo parts and just bam.
I think we all have the same setup. I think I would. I think you have to keep Metroid. This is a franchise where it's like Nintendo doesn't really have a lot of these shooting, more mature games. Definitely keep Metroid, and I wouldn't even mind like 2D or 3D. Like both appeal to me. This was the hard part because F-Zero magically, like, still Captain Falcon is like so popular, and he hasn't really been in anything besides Smash. Star Fox, I love Star Fox, big fan of Star Fox. I would probably kill F-Zero for the same reasons Marty said. Like, it's pretty much dead already, and you know, a lot of people don't really know of F-Zero game. I think the younger people don't really, so I think that'd be an easier, you know, cut ties with that. Star Fox, I'm trading to Microsoft. I'm trading to the Rare team. Take him. Do something exciting with him. We've essentially gotten like Star Fox on the SNES 4 times. They've remade it or reimagined it in some way. And give us our boy Banjo-Kazooie back. Or give us Conkers, even Perfect Dark, something like that. The Rare has a lot of good things. So I think Star Fox, trade him. F-Zero, bye. Metroid. Me and the Metroid fan base aren't really the best of friends. So I hope they support Metroid. I hope they support the new games.
Please.
But yeah.
Oh, I know who I would want to trade with Capcom. I almost said Captain Falcon. F-Zero for. Give us Beautiful Joe. We mentioned him earlier. just Capcom, you're not doing anything with Beautiful Joe. Just bring it on home. There we go.
He's shoved in a box in a warehouse somewhere. And
yeah, where is he? Where's that guy? He could keep the 3DS alive. Boom.
You know what they could do is take F-Zero or take Star. I don't care whichever one. Just give me the Capcom Saturday Morning Collection on the Switch.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Come on.
That's actually that's valid right there.
And also the fast racing games are they give me my fix of like fast racing. And those are great games too. I love those.
They've pretty much taken F-Zero. I feel like Nintendo probably looks at that and says, why do we need to do one?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like they don't care. The fast racing games were so well done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, especially the one that launched on the Switch. It was kind of like a best of, right? It was like, here's some things from the Wii U and here's some new things, right? And I say that being one of those people who downloaded it in the first week going, oh my gosh, we don't have any games. And then all of a sudden the great game deluge of 2017 happened and I've not booted up Fast Racing Neo. And like if I go in and look at my things, like, you know, if it'll give you suggestions of what to delete, it's like, haven't been played in 9 months.
It's like at the bottom with like Snake Pass.
World of Goo, actually.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. And the visuals on the fast racing games, like, they're really good too. Like,
absolutely.
I think the only thing missing is probably like characters like a Captain Falcon. Maybe he makes that over there. I don't know. Joe, you have a topic for us.
Yeah, and so I was trying to avoid talking about Virtual Console again, so trying to give it a little bit of a spin here because of recent events that happened this week, actually. Basically, so Arcade Archives and all these collections being announced for Switch, like Mega Man, like Crash Bandicoot. Are you guys satisfied with how these are being delved out? Oh, the SNK 40th also being announced.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys satisfied with this as a method to playing towards playing older games, aside from waiting for Virtual Console down the road? I know we've talked about it here in the past, and my case still stands as like, I don't think we necessarily need it right now, or even maybe when September comes. I'm starting to think it doesn't, but that can be a whole other subject. Because Spyro being announced on the other ones and eventually not coming over here, or maybe coming over here. But we're getting Crash, we're getting all these collections onto Switch. Are you guys finding this as like an okay way of getting our old school games onto Switch?
I think it's a good fit for the situation that the Switch is in right now. Like I actually like collections a lot. The fact that I can put in one cartridge or load up one game and play whatever Mega Man I want rather than like buying each one individually, that appeals to me a lot more, especially with a portable console too, because like you don't want to be scrolling through games and stuff like that. So I like the collections, but for me, when I think of the collections and I think of Virtual Console, they're two different like beasts altogether. I don't know why we don't have Virtual Console at this point. Like, I mean, us three, we probably have all these games on like our Wii U and Wii and stuff like that. So we're probably not the market for it. But I feel like if someone is picking up a Nintendo console, especially the Switch, and you could probably assume that they haven't picked up a Nintendo console in a while, one of the first few games or a few games that they want to play are some of these old games. Like, hey, I remember Mario Odyssey is really cool. Why don't we play like 64 and see how different it is? So the fact that Virtual Console is not here yet is like, what's happening? What's going on? Hopefully they reveal it all in, whatever they're doing with the online. That's kind of like what I'm thinking is going to happen, but I don't mind the collections. I actually like them quite a bit.
I'm going to go in the opposite direction. I think that collections are pointless, especially when I think that you bring up a great point of, you've got people who may be picking up a Nintendo console again for the first time in a very long time. The greatest thing Nintendo could have done in those situations would have been to have the Virtual Console ready and be filling it with games as we speak, or even if it's this on-demand, Netflix model that people have talked about, having that ready before now would have been, and it's not, obviously, I don't know what I'm talking about because it hasn't stopped the Switch from steamrolling into what it is today. But even if they had taken the NES Classic and the SNES Classic and offered them in cartridge form or download form for the Switch, that would have been better than what we're getting right now. It's no secret if you listen to our show, I hate the Arcade Archives games.
I don't like them.
They're terrible. The presentation of them is beyond bad. You boot one of them up and you're greeted with what is possibly the most confusing and boring menu screens that I have seen in a long time, filled with all kinds of pointless nonsense. And I don't look, and you call it hyperbole or whatever, or that I'm just grandstanding or whatever. I don't care if it has scan lines or all kinds of that crap in it. Just let me play the game. And I definitely don't want to have to punch a button on the controller to put in quarters so that I can play the game. And like Jesse last night on our show, he was like, and he makes a good point, and I'll give him this. He's like, but it's not emulation. It's a remastered version or it's a recoded version of the game. I get that. I don't care. I just want to play the game. When I bought Versus Super Mario Brothers, it took me 10 minutes to figure out how to start the freaking game. And I was like, this is nonsense. This is absolute madness. Why? Like, it baffles me why Nintendo would allow the first presentation of the classic Super Mario Brothers on the Switch to be that.
Yeah, that was. Now, I haven't picked them up, so I need you guys to answer this for me. Have they added leaderboards or like online or like anything different to those? No, it's just like
No, they're just straight up like
Damn.
the true to arcade
Yes.
versions of those games.
And I'll give it that. Like, there's like the only reason that I bought versus Super Mario Brothers is because I had never played that version of that game.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same reason like I say that I hate these. I'm going to be buying Punch Out,
Yeah,
but it's simply because I've not played that version. Right.
yeah,
But I'm used to it as far as emulation. I'm used to just being able to start up an emulator and there's the game, and it, you've set your keys and it works, even with arcade stuff.
yeah.
But this, it's almost like it's just like I don't need it to function like an arcade machine. I need it to function like a game.
Yeah.
And
mean,
and
some of these-
the $8 price point I know is okay with some people. I think it's way too much,
Yeah.
especially when you're having these games that were NES games, basically with Super Mario Brothers, that were 400 coins on the Switch or 400 points on the Wii, Virtual Console.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean to say Switch. I meant Wii. Rest in peace, Wii Virtual Console.
See you, buddy.
By the way, but 400, 500 coins or points on there is a huge difference. Like, what makes this $8, right?
Yeah.
And for our friends in Canada and other territories, even more than that.
No.
That's crazy. Some of these Neo Geo games, I like those are so the Neo Geo games are very close to the arcade like port. They're almost like straight ports over. So people that are hating on the Neo Geo games, check some of them out. They're really good. Like some of the Metal Slug games and like the King of Fighters, like
Samurai Showdown.
Yes.
Oh, Samurai Showdown's fantastic.
Yeah,
The thing about Metal Slug though is that's already been in a compilation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I guess it was it for the Wii, the Metal Slug compilation?
Yeah, it was. Yep.
And like I actually rented that from GameFly back in the day and beat it in like 3 hours, all of them.
Jeez.
And so why would I? Because you can play through them and they just give you unlimited credits, So you just like, oh, I died again. Well, more credits. Why would I pay $8 a piece for those games other than like? And I get what they're tapping into. You have intense nostalgia for that game, But again, Nintendo is, I think, if September in this quote robust online experience, if it does not include Virtual Console, I'm saying it, I will be disappointed. For me, I will be disappointed because okay, 2007 I buy a Wii, right? 2012 I buy a Wii U. I've had 10 years now where this company has conditioned me through three console generations, and I'm talking 3DS as well now, where they've conditioned me with this term virtual console, with the ability to pick up old games and play them and have them, because I don't have the room to keep boxes of cartridges and all kinds of systems laying out. I don't have CRT TVs anymore.
Yep.
So I'm able to play this now on my TV. So why would you stop now? Like what's in it for Nintendo to stop doing it now?
Yeah. It's just very odd. It's just,
It
Joe, how do you
is.
feel about some of these collections, man?
So I think it's case by case for me. Like I so far I've been digging. Like I think it's cool that Crash is coming over again. I liked Crash when it came out, but I'm not head over heels as a lot of people are over that. And eventually, Spyro's gonna come out. I feel like they're just waiting to just like get people to double dip buy that game when it comes out in September, and then 3 months later the Switch version comes out and people go crazy and buy it again.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that. I like the Mega Man collection coming out. So like there's it's a nice reason to go back. I don't think I'll spend an eternity playing these. I think these will be games that'll be like, oh, I want to play some Mega Man 2 at some point and just pop it in real quick. And then like I don't think I'll spend hours upon hours on these. They'll probably sit on the shelf for a little bit, which is fine. I'm okay going in with the expectation that I'm not going to play all those games. With that said, what Marty was saying about the arcade, I'm a weirdo. For those exact reasons that he had mentioned, he didn't like the arcade, some of the arcade stuff, like putting in the coins and stuff like that. I love the little things like that. Like, I don't know, I'm such a dork when it comes to that stuff. Just like just putting in the quarters and popping in the coins and playing 1942 or something like that on Switch or whatever. I will say that some of that stuff is just really weird and confusing in terms of like, you know, I accidentally press a button and it sends me into the menu instead of like just me wanting to use a special attack on an enemy while I'm flying around and stuff like that. I think they could do a little bit better there. It is a little clunky in terms of like the menu setup and the save states and how that works. But I think Neo Geo has gotten a decent pattern down. Their stuff is a little it's not fully there, but they seem to have it down. I mean, I guess since they've been porting every Neo Geo game in existence across the entire board, like you get them on Steam, you got them on PS4, Xbox One, like they're everywhere. So I think they have it down a little bit more. Same with the arcade archives. Like I bought Versus Super Mario Brothers just cause Super Mario. Like I was just like, yes, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna support it, and I know it's a bad decision. I think that's where pricing can should be a little bit more flexible. I feel like that's one thing that Nintendo always seems to do, is just like, here's the price for arcade games, and that's what it's going to be across the board. It's not going to go down, it's not going to go higher, and it's like, yeah, some of these games aren't going to be worth the full $8. Like,
right.
someone in the comments might berate me for this, but Ninja Kid just came out. That's an arcade archives game. I don't think it's worth $8. I'm gonna wait for a sale. I'm gonna wait for a sale, and I'm gonna pick it up then.
I think that, like for me, I think that these would be more effective if they were bundled, you know, or they were. Yeah. There was some kind of compilation for that. Like if there was an Arcade Archives cartridge, and it was $60 and it had so many games, and then they could do volume 2 and volume 3, kind of like what Sega did, you know, with Sega Classics on the 3DS or something like that. I'm okay with that. And you know, coming back to the compilation thing, like I'm okay with having Mega Man. I'm definitely okay with having the Mega Man collection, right? I'm so okay with that. But like I don't understand why we're getting these compilations, and several of them are, again, they're missing the Switch. Like Sega announced that the Genesis, the new Genesis collection, not even on the Switch. And then you know, again, Saturday Morning Collection from Capcom, not on the Switch. But then this week, NIS announced the SNK 40th.
Yep.
And the first thing they said was, it's coming to the Switch. And I was like, yes, this is how you do it. You know, people want to play those games two ways. They want to play them portable, but they also want to, like, the clamor to play them on the Switch. Now everything, you know, put it on the Switch, put it on the Switch, put it on the Switch. And Nintendo UK, even yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw this, they listed Spyro Reignited on their own store for like 30 minutes, and then poof, it was gone. And we talked about this on our show last night. Like, is that real? Is it not? Did somebody just jump the gun and like get really excited? And yeah, it's coming to the Switch. Let me put it up there. Oh, it's not.
Yeah, someone from the Discord pre-ordered that. Actually, his pre-order went through, and Nintendo refunded him. So, I don't know what that was about, but
well, my summation basically last night was that if this is one of those things that they're saving for E3, thinking that it's going to be like some blow the doors off announcement, just go ahead and let the cat out of the bag.
That's what I think.
Just go ahead and let it happen, because you know it's like Crash. At this point, we know this is pretty much going to happen, right? Go ahead and just let it happen.
We'll get it a year later.
They did that too with like Okami HD. Like Okami HD was out, and they made a big deal out of that. So I don't know. I think that's what's going to happen. Spyro enters the Switch.
I still think that we're like at some point down the line, like in a year, they're gonna be like, "Hey, Disney fans."
Do you remember these games?
And that's the one to me that is such the head scratcher, because it's like,
Yep.
all of those games were NES games. Why are they not on the Switch?
It's crazy.
But like coming back to the virtual console argument, I'll just say this, and then I'm done with my thoughts. Is that if this is the only way we ever do get virtual console games, then I'm okay with the compilations.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to do them that way, because I don't want either the digital or physical bulk that goes along with that. Like, I would much rather have those very small file sizes as virtual console games that I can store in a folder later on when Nintendo finally gets their act together on the Switch UI and puts folders in. But or that I can transfer over because I've already bought them on the Wii U.
Exactly.
And the Wii. I'm not buying Mario again. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I will buy Mario 3 again. I'm sorry, Iwata-san. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kimishima. I'm sorry, Reggie. I promise I won't say that again. But no, and we laugh because we know it's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be, virtual console. Super Mario Brothers 3 is $5 on the Switch. And all of us are going to be going, and you'll let us download it if we already have it. Nope.
Here's my wallet.
Super
Mario Bros. 3, Super Metroid will be downloaded again. You bring up a good point though, because I feel like we mentioned this a lot on every episode, but I think it's time for some kind of eShop update, because I kind of want to see all these Neo Geo games, and for me to do that, I have to just scroll, and that's just something that I'm not willing to do, especially all these games coming out. Same with the archive stuff. So
group by publisher or something, group, search form. I know you can do that, and it'll show you all. Like, if you search arcade, it'll show you all of them with that title in there. But man, I never thought I would say this. The Wii U eShop looks so much better.
It does.
It's so pretty.
So
let's go back to
that. We have something that is kind of a head scratcher for me. Super Mario Odyssey. We're going to be talking about. It's kind of the main event of tonight. Something that it's been on my mind lately. And when the game came out, people loved it, man. And for a while, this was in competition with Breath of the Wild, like which is going to be game of the year, and everyone was in love with it. And now I feel like, and this is what I kind of want to talk to you guys about. Is this game kind of showing its flaws later in the game? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like this about Odyssey. Odyssey wasn't that great if you think about it. Those kind of things. So I kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Odyssey. What is it? 4 months later? 5 months later?
Or around there.
I don't know who said it on Nintendo Dads, but didn't you guys give this game an 11 out of 10?
Justin gave this game an 11 out of 10. Yes, on his big video review, and I'll stand by that. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, even now, I'll say that with this caveat. I think that we needed to, or have seen, or even had in hand now, more DLC than Luigi hanging from a few balloons.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, it's time for Nintendo. Like, I mean, we had Breath of the Wild DLC promised before it even hit, right? Yeah. And we knew that there was going to be more to the story. Like, Nintendo just needs to either, as we say here in the South, crap or get off the pot, and let us know is out. And I'm just going to say it because it's what everybody is thinking. Is Isle Delfino in this game?
Please.
Ooh.
Please, God, tell me yes or no so I can quit talking about it, thinking about it, seeing YouTube videos about it, all that stuff. Like we know that there's more costumes coming, right? Because, I mean, they data mined it, they dug, and they found some stuff, and a lot of it was true. And so we know we're probably getting, like, the Link costume for Mario and some other things, because the baseball costume panned out, the Knight costume panned out, all that. Mm-hmm. And like, I think that the Balloon World edition is great. I think it's a great little time waster. I was totally wrong about it. Like, when I first saw it, I was like, this is total garbage.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Like, I've got 666 moons, which is a wonderful number. And like, I'll go back to it and I'll play it a little bit, right? And I'll try to find some moons, and then I'll stall out for a little bit, and then I'll come back to it. But my point in saying that is I'm doing the same thing with Breath of the Wild. Like I finished all 120 original shrines on the day on March 3rd, 1 year later. Like it took me a while because like I went in, you know, I did the 4 beasts, like within 2 to 3 weeks, I had the game beaten. Right. And then I would go back and I would find DLC and I would find this and I would do a quest here or do a quest there. But I don't know if you guys are like me, but then new games come out. Right. And then it's like, okay, I've got to review this game, or here's one I really do want to play just for me. And so like I would get into that. Well, then I'll lose the time that I have available for Breath of the Wild. And I'll see people who have like 250 hours in it.
Man.
And I was like, how? You know, I've got I think I've got 90 hours wrapped up in it, which is it's still a large amount of time to put into a game.
Yeah.
But like for me, when we talked about game of the year, and like I had both of them there, like as nominees, but Mario won for me. And we actually got criticized for this on Reddit of all places, because it was called out. It's like, you can't just make Mario game of the year because you like Mario. And I was like, yeah, I kind of can, you know, like if Mario Odyssey is game of the year for me because I've always liked Mario more than Zelda. I didn't say, and it, you know, like people around the game of the year thing, they acted like you were murdering their cat. Because you weren't saying that Zelda was game of the year.
Yep.
You know, it's like, and my point was on our show, both of them are good games, and saying Mario Odyssey is game of the year does not mean that Zelda is not a good game, a great game, a fantastic game, a genre defining game, a system selling game. It's fantastic. But for me, Mario just bit harder because I've always, at my core, I've always been more of a Mario fan than Zelda. So for me, this game has staying power. I'm still finding things. I still enjoy it. I'll still go back and play, you know, a challenge or a level that I really loved. You know, just part of it. I like watching, like I'll watch my son play it, or, you know, we didn't do like the 2-player mode or anything, but like just going back and doing those challenges, you know, or just running around the world, trying on new costumes and all that stuff. Like I'm still enthralled with this game. I still think it's fantastic. I think that people who criticize it, they criticize it because it doesn't fit the box of what they wanted and what they expected it to be. And, you know, just like we've seen Breath of the Wild and just like we've seen Mario, both of these games have taken characters and worlds that we loved and gone in divergent paths from what we've expected, right?
Yeah.
And good results both ways. Good results both ways. But I think that, you know, people wanted more of Mario 64 and they didn't get that. And so it's easier to criticize. You know,
even when they got the 64 world, they're still not happy.
Yeah.
Right. Which that was an amazing surprise.
Oh man,
by the way,
that was
to
so
say
good.
that. I flipped out. Like my wife came in the room. She's like, "What are you doing? What is going on?" I was like, "It's the freaking Mushroom Kingdom." Sit here to look at it and glory in it. And she's like, "I'm going to go read a book."
That's men and women. There we go.
That's good.
Joe.
Yeah,
Mario Odyssey, has it stood up for you?
I mean, gosh, I haven't gone back probably since maybe a week or two after I beat the game, which I beat it around launch week. It didn't take too long to like actually get through the game, but I also went back and started getting stars and whatnot. I think I actually capped closer to like maybe 300 or something like that. I didn't get crazy with the stars. Not that I felt overwhelmed or anything, but I did feel like with the stars, or sorry, I keep on. What the hell are they in the moons? Gosh, sorry, Mario 64 in the brain. I felt like I was like, okay, I think I'm good here. Like I felt satisfied with what I got to play with Mario Odyssey. For me, like just going based off that, I still think it's a game that everyone should go back to and play. it is a solid game. And for anyone who is saying that they wanted more Mario 64, I felt like this was the closest to Mario 64 that we had gotten in a while. Like, I felt like I was that kid, 12 years old, or however old I was when N64 came out. I might have been younger than that, actually, now that I think about it. But just holding the Bowser Claw, going through Peach's Castle for the first time. Like, this time it was me with the Joy-Cons, going through an entire, like, just a kingdom. And for the first time, and just messing around, going into that second area and throwing the cap on the dinosaur and just going wild. Like, those are first time experiences you only get once with a game. So
yeah,
for me, those moments and the ending, which I will not spoil, like, I cannot stress how awesome that really cool final boss fight is. And what happens afterwards. Like, people should enjoy what they had gotten with Mario. I think, yes, you should there should have been something else afterwards in terms of DLC, more worlds, or a use of different characters in different styles of play, maybe. Like, yeah, Luigi shouldn't be relegated to balloons. Like, he's better than that, man. Or even like, I don't want to spoil it, but like, Peach. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And there should have been more with that.
I would have loved to have seen like more variation a la Mario 3D World.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mario 3D World took like a familiar Mario theme and style of play and like twisted it in multiple different ways. And one of my favorite levels from that game that will always stick with me is the Mario Kart level.
Yes.
Yeah. you know, and it has the classic Mario Kart music, and it has like the blocks like from, you know, the Super Mario Kart SNES version. And I remember playing that for the first time and going, holy crap, this is awesome. You know, and there's little nods to that, like, but I think there has to be, like, the Switch to me is not just about Nintendo's new hardware. It is about Nintendo. It's about the new guard of Nintendo slowly taking the reins.
Yes. No, definitely.
Yeah.
So like you're seeing like Miyamoto kind of take a back seat to Koizumi and different guys like that. Aonuma, you know, kind of becoming Mr. Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so as they're taking these roles, you're going to have different ideas, and you're going to see games begin to go. Not that Miyamoto wouldn't have ever given us Mario throwing his cap and possessing enemies. Right. But like, I'm not saying he wouldn't have ever given us that, but like, how far down the road, you know, how much further down the road, like Nintendo is there's something really cool going on in this company right now where they're not innovating because they have to. Like, and when I mean that, it's like, it's not like Miyamoto's dead and it's like, holy crap, what are we going to do with Zelda and Mario?
Mm-hmm.
It's Miyamoto saying, go ahead and play around with this, because one day I'm not going to be here, and I want somebody who's going to continue to take my baby and treat it right. Right. So they're innovating because they can, not because they have to. So, you know, there are going to be some things like, you know, I'll sit here and admit this. There's some parts of both Breath of the Wild and Mario that I just did not like. You know, like there's just like, if they didn't do that in the next game, great. I'm fine with that. Yeah. But to sit here and like totally throw Odyssey away, and I was like very much on the fence, even up to like launch day of Odyssey. Like I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. Why are there humans and dogs in my Mario? You know, like I need to be sliding down a hill into Goombas. What is going on? You know,
where's Sonic?
but then I played it for the first time, and like I was instantly hooked.
Yeah.
and it hooked me so, like, it reminded me of Mario 3. Like, I remember being a kid, 8 or 9 years old, Mario 3 came out, and it hooked me so hard. Like, it's all I could think about. Like, I'd get in trouble at school because I was drawing Mario 3 maps and like drawing pictures of Yoshi on the inside of my folders. This was Mario Odyssey when it came out.
Yeah.
You know, and just find every little thing I find and everything, like, it draws me in just a little bit more.
Yeah. I really don't get the claim that it's like a lack of, Mario. I feel like this game, if anything, was a big fan service. Like, you could dress up as anyone, Waluigi, Wario, and just like little things that they didn't have to do. Like, you can literally be N64 Mario. Like, what more do you want?
It's crazy.
But I honestly think that Odyssey is a very special game, and unfortunately, it has this weird tie to Breath of the Wild simply because they're like the big titans of that year. But one thing really put it over the edge for me. If you guys have played Faye and Yooka-Laylee, two modern platformers, there's one thing about all three of those games that is vastly different from another. So with Faye, it's when you're controlling the character, you feel like almost too light. Like, that was one of my criticisms with that game, and it's very like light platforming, and it feels kind of awkward in that regard. Whereas Yooka-Laylee, you feel really heavy, and you feel almost like clumsy at times. Odyssey is perfection when it comes to jumping and running. Like, I genuinely just love controlling Mario. Like, I love playing the game just because of how well it controls. But I think that Odyssey, honestly, and I don't want to like pump it up too much, but I feel like it might be a game that like 20, 30 years from now, like three other weirdos are going to be talking about that game as like being like, you guys remember Odyssey? Like, that was such a great game. So I really liked Odyssey. There are flaws with it, like you were saying, Marty. Like, one of the things that I just really dislike about that game is the boss battles. I feel like they were almost like a throwaway. And they weren't really like the bunny characters. I didn't really, gravitate towards them much. I didn't really find them that interesting. So maybe it's that. And like you were saying, Joe, like the replayability of that. I haven't really touched it much. Like, I played the Balloon World, but even the moons, like some of them are just like, oh, I see a moon, so I'm gonna go get it. Like, there's no like, some of the moons there's no reward in getting them really. Some of them are puzzle based and stuff like that. But I mean, pretty much if you can see it, you can get it. So that's just for me.
I did feel like
I'm
sorry.
No, I'm sorry. You go ahead, Joe.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say, I feel like I feel like the amount of moons that they threw in here was just like, hey, we did this in Breath of the Wild, let's do it over here, sort of thing. And then just to, Marty had a really awesome point. Oh, about Mario 3D World, and like, I would have liked to have seen like harder versions, like flip all those kingdoms upside down and like get it completely even more difficult, because I felt like Mario games are generally like you can kind of breeze through them. I feel like the difficulty spike in some of the levels though could have just been cranked up a volume or two, and kind of like Mario 3D World did, where you beat the game, hey, great, now here's a whole set of 8 other worlds that are here that are completely difficult, so good luck, have a nice time. Like, I didn't feel like I got that part of the experience in Mario Odyssey. And yeah, the boss battles were like, I completely forgot about them, so there you go.
Yeah. It's not bad.
So here's my thing about this, and I've been thinking about this for a while. I'm not really talking to anybody about it, but I'm just going to throw this out here. So we talked about the probably what Mario Odyssey needs right now is a good shot of DLC, right? A new world or a new kingdom to explore. Isle Delfino Kingdom would be great. I'm going to go one step further. Because there is Nintendo needs to right a wrong here, and the wrong is that there is one character out of the entire Mario canon that has been woefully neglected over the years, and that is I need a pipe that I can go down that takes me to the Subcon Kingdom. and you end up fighting Wart in the end. Guys, I'm telling you, you can already pick up vegetables and throw them in this game.
That's true.
I mean, come on.
Oh,
you go in,
my
there's
God.
freaking Birdo and Mouser and Wart.
Yo, you had me at Mouser.
Wart? Yep. Where is Wart? Like Mario didn't just dream up Wart because like he had to have seen that thing before somewhere. Like I don't know, like maybe Mario's just walking along and so frog, and then there he is in his dreams. This is a perfect opportunity to loop this back in, as like Dream Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you,
that would be good actually.
20 you give me that at E3 and I'm just whipping out the wallet. Like, come on. Yes.
Available now.
I will, like I'm over here like making statues of Koizumi out of butter and different things like that, just like bowing down to him. Come on, give me my Dream Kingdom.
Wow. Talk about pulling things out of obscurity. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I did not see that coming.
They've pretty much like, okay, like I don't know that they want to like forget that game totally exists or whatever, but we've ported over Shy Guys. We've got enemies from it. Let's just go full Mario 2. Come on.
Bobby would love you right now. Crazy.
I waffle back and forth seriously on this that like Mario 3 between Mario 3 and Mario 2 being my favorite Mario game.
Wow.
Because I got my NES when I was 8 years old and I played Super Mario Brothers, but then I quickly learned that there was another Mario game, out, Super Mario Brothers 2. And then I got it and it was so different than the first one. And I like obsessed over it.
Yep.
As a kid, and like that whole cartoon series that came out in the 80s based on that, except it was Koopa and no Wart. Come on, give me Wart. Give me that big fat frog. I need Wart in a game.
Give him Wart.
I don't know. Look, and I know that's a total like opposite direction rant than what you guys have planned for this show right now. But
that was amazing.
Dream Kingdom for Mario Odyssey. I'll just buy the whole freaking game again. Just I'd pay $60 for it.
Damn. Well, there you
go. There you go.
I would love to see like a Luigi's Mansion type thing.
Oh.
The 3DS thing is not doing it for me. I want to. Maybe you can even play as like Luigi too. Like that'd be cool. I like that.
Once these ideas start flowing, it's just they don't stop.
Oh,
Give me something from RPG, like Mallow's World, or oh my god, there's so many things you could do right there.
Yeah, it was kind of weird that we didn't see any like Captain Toad like used at all in this game. Like we saw him, but
well, I mean that's because he was being included to ramp up his Switch port.
Yeah. At least they're doing something for that Switch port. So we're gonna end this show off with some couple of viewer questions. If you guys want to, we need some kind of a transition in there. If you guys want to submit questions, there's a tab over on my Discord. I'll link that in the description for you guys. Some good questions this week, and the first one's a really good question, and I was almost tempted to make it a topic. So Dude427, thank you for the question. And he goes, would you want Nintendo to keep creating new franchises or keep adding to the ones they already have? So would you want them to keep making new franchises or kind of focus on the ones that they've forgotten? We mentioned like F-Zero before. But I don't know. They've had some success with some new ones, ARMS, Splatoon 2, or Splatoon in general. I'll start with Joe on this one. What would you rather see, new or some of the older ones?
I like this turn of a generation with Nintendo right now. We had new folks. We had some of the younger crew working towards the end of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon with Pokemon in terms of Pokemon Company. Like you said, Splatoon, they gave a chance on ARMS. Hopefully it gets a second life and goes further. Plugging ARMS Mania right now on stream. We have ARMS Mania happening. I want to see some more new IPs. I want to see new development teams within Nintendo themselves working on some new stuff. Let's get crazy. This is the perfect time to do it. the Switch is ripe for this. We've seen it with all the indie games that we're getting. Aside from the ports, we are getting new stuff as well. I think it's time. I think it's Nintendo's turn now. Let's see some more new stuff. Let's get out there. Let's see what can happen. You know, we've got our franchises. You've always had, no matter what Nintendo console you go on, you're going to have a Mario. You're going to have a Zelda. Sometimes you might not get a Metroid.
Lots of times.
Yeah. You'll get a Star Fox for the most part. Whether it's good is debatable. Too soon. You know, I think it's time we start bringing in some new characters, and let's just let Dylan be a thing on the side. We don't need any more rolling westerns.
Throw away Dylan.
You can leave it there.
Marty, how do you feel about this? Would you like to see some new stuff?
Here's my dilemma in this whole question is that Nintendo over the last 5 to 6 years has been fairly, I would say, I won't say fairly liberal with them, but they've been more open to new IP than they have in the past. Splatoon is probably the biggest example of that. I remember seeing the original trailer for Splatoon and going, "What in the crap is this? I don't know about
we all
this."
did.
And then it came out and it was just, this runaway success, and it's even steamrolled even more on Switch. But people forget that also during that were years of Chibi Robo and Codename Steam, and I'm going to call another one that's going this direction too, Sushi Strikers, The Way of Sushido. I love that they're trying that new stuff, but like you can almost see it's like looking at a car wreck in slow motion. Like I really wanted Codename Steam to be great because I'm like, who does not like steampunk presidents conducting warfare on alien monsters? That's fantastic. But like just the whole execution of it just fell flat. Chibi Robo has done nothing. Sushi Strikers, I really don't see going anywhere. So but then on the other hand, you have stuff that they probably didn't spend a lot of time on or resources, like Box Boy, that just keeps going. It is good, and I like Box Boy. It's fine. But so I think their key to that moving forward would be, I would rather see them focus on smaller new IPs that they don't have to invest so many resources in to launch. And then if they do catch on, a la Box Boy, they can then send some more resources that way. But then you're still leaning on your older franchises, and in those older franchises, allowing that new birth to happen, allowing that uprooting to happen, like with Breath of the Wild and Odyssey, to move away from some of the older tropes and move to new parts of the story or new ways to play the game. And then if those older franchises are still stale, at least they've got something, and I hate to say it this way, but on the back burner, right?
Yeah.
That they've been nurturing that maybe has hit, and now they can bring it up and kind of elevate it. Because Fire Emblem's kind of that way. If you think about it, Fire Emblem almost felt like Nintendo's little pet project for a while. And now I would say it's kind of been moved up to, A tier.
Yeah.
Like it's a really big deal. I mean, think of all the Nintendo franchises that could have got a mobile app before it.
Yeah.
And you got Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
So if we could get a mixture, and I know this question is either or, so I've kind of cheated a little bit. If there could be a mixture of back burner, small devs, taking new IP and taking chances that way, maybe even in the right, and then you see it come on over to systems and consoles, maybe especially on the Switch, and then allowing those older franchises to kind of be the bread and butter.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I don't want to go right down. There are some franchises that are are kind of neglected. I mean, we talked about F-Zero before. How cool would it be to get like an Excite Bike like in 2018? Like that'd be, there's so many like just odd, like great franchises that they do have. But then again, like I've been a big fan of Splatoon. Arms, I know I might be in the minority on this, but I really do like Arms. I think it's really fun. So I do like the kind of young direction they're going in. I would like to see them focus on some new IPs. You look at that Smash roster and you're like, I don't know, man. It's kind of getting stale. So hopefully they do a mixture of both. But I would like to see them go more in the newer direction. Let's see. Oh man, I have one from Bobby.
Uh-oh. Oh yeah.
And I said, "Do you really want me to ask this?" And he's like, "Yes, ask it." So, question is for Marty.
Oh no.
He said, "Marry F kill between the Nintendo dads."
Oh no, I can't do this.
Zach, Jesse, or Justin?
Oh man.
Me and Joe just get to sit back and relax.
Oh, this is good.
Do I have to? Oh. Well, let's see. Well, here's the thing. I think that let me get the easy, the softball one out of the way. The Mary question.
Who's your sweetie?
I'd probably marry Jesse. I
Okay.
feel like he and I could hang out, and we could kind of occupy the same space. He could teach me about Persona,
Okay.
right? I could and anime, and I could teach him about how to play Punch Out. He was talking this week about how he had downloaded Arcade Archives, and he was like, "Yeah, I suck at this. Well, I'll teach him how to play Smash and all those games."
Couple goals.
Let's see. Kill. I'm gonna kill Justin. Just because.
Oh man.
Just cause I mean, he already holds a grudge because on the very first episode of Nintendo Dads I was on, we were doing like our Wii U top 10 list of all time, and you could remove one from the list permanently. And I slashed Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze's throat right in front of him. And I killed, it was like killing Old Yeller. He couldn't believe it. He was like, I'm already, he's on the show. He's like, you're done. You're in the next week. You're gone.
You're dead to me.
So I guess the lucky guy is Zach, I guess.
Oh yeah, Zach. I mean, you guys hear him. He's got that smooth voice,
Yeah.
He not only that, he's like a dual podcast superstar now. He's got the Shift show that he's working on, the psychology podcast he's doing. He plays D&D.
There we go.
He loves Marvel movies and Legos. I mean, how can I resist that, Bobby? I'm going to kill you.
It almost sounds like
I love you, but I'm going to kill you.
It almost sounds like you want to marry Zach instead.
Well, I don't know.
More of a swing, I feel like.
Guys, it's such a hard choice.
And then just to end on a wacky question, let's go with
I like wacky.
This is wacky, man. Octoling expansion. I believe this is Chris. I don't know. They always change their names in here. He says, "Do you think Nintendo could ever make a VR Splatoon?"
Can I answer this question?
Splatoon. Yes, Joe.
Yes. Labo can do anything. Just get Labo visors, the IR sensor, boom, right there, right on the left, and I don't know, I guess you control with the Pro controller or something like that, and you're moving around, boom, like that, aiming and all that. Keep it real simple, just nice and clean.
But you just said keep it real simple, and they can't do that because you would have to probably do some like weird squatting motion to turn into a squid.
No, you got to do oh my god, what's his name? Boom.
Yeah, you got to do the two. They've been preparing us for this the whole time.
Yep.
Splatoon 2 VR confirmed.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Last week we were talking about Battle Royale Splatoon. This week it's VR Splatoon.
I don't like at the pace at which you look around in that game. In some ways, I don't know that you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you want to change the ink for vomit, then sure. I mean,
every match is green ink.
I feel like Metroid might work that way. Like if you had two right Joy-Cons, like pop one as a visor or whatever, like wear that as the helmet, and then you have that. Or again, instead of the right and like two Joy-Cons, you could use a Pro Controller or whatever, just aiming around like that. Or like
all
having
I'm gonna say about that is, let's wait and play the robot Labo first, right?
No, we can't wait. We can't wait because you could use the left Joy-Cons as switching your weapons. What?
Oh, I like
Come
it.
on. Oh,
I like it.
Splatoon is good. Stop saying Splatoon. I like the idea. You're very
Smash
like
VR confirmed.
Listen,
Smash.
Labo anything
Falcon
at this
Punch Simulator.
That's vomit. Right
There's your God Fist game right there.
You got a cardboard fist that you build.
So I think that's all for today. So what did we learn today? We're gonna I can't even say it. We're gonna F Zach and we're gonna play Splatoon in VR. So that's how we're gonna end off today's show. Before we sign off, why don't you guys sign off? Joe, where can they find you, man?
YouTube.com/JoeAfterWork, Twitch.tv/JoeAfterWork, at JoeAfterWork on Twitter. Joe After Work. There you go.
Joe After Work everywhere. And thank you once again, Marty. Where can they find you, my good sir?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Marty Estes, which is just my name. You can find me on YouTube at Nintendo Dads, also helping out on the Nintendo Dads Twitter account as well. And I do have a blog that I occasionally write on. It's marty-estes.com if you want to get over there. That I'm going to be doing, just thoughts and things right now, but looking forward eventually to doing, like parenting style video game tips and board game reviews and different things like that, because I'm a huge board gamer too. So just an outlet for that type of thing. And then like on the Nintendo Dads podcast every week. Nice. There you go.
Awesome. And you guys are already here at NintenTalk, and we're working on that audio feed, Bobby. Like a month away, so I'm sorry, but it's only a video version right now. NintenTalk merch is out and available for the public, and we will see you next week, guys. Thank you very much. Peace out.